Hello, my dear students. I am Dr. B.R. Annasagar, Associate Professor in Economics, Government First Grade College and PG Center, SEDAM. Dear students, today I am going to discuss on the topic quantity theory of money, the Cambridge version, or the cash balance approach. Dear students, in our earlier discussion, we have understood the quantity theory of money, the transactions approach, or the Fisher's approach, or American approach. We have understood that price level or the value of money depends upon the quantity of money that is there in the economy. That means higher the quantity of money, higher will be the price level, lower the quantity of money, lower will be the price level. That means there is a direct and proportionate relationship between quantity of money, stock of money, the amount of money that is there in the economy, and the level of prices. That version of Fisher, where he took only the transactions function of money as a medium of exchange, means of exchange, that aspect only was considered. Since this aspect has been criticized by various economists, and the second function and main important function of money, that is stock of value. Money can be stored, money can be stocked, money can be put as it is. This function, money, when it is put, stored, its value can change. That is being called as cash balance approach, or the Cambridge approach, or the British approach. People want to keep money because it has store value. It can be stored. If people want to hold money, people want to have more of cash, that affects the economic activities in the country or in the economy. According to the cash balance approach or the Cambridge analysis, they tried to evaluate quantity of money and its impact on the prices or value of money. The Fisher's approach, where quantity of money demanded is always equivalent to the quantity of money supplied. There is a balance in the economy. The cash balance approach, taking the store of value function into account, says that as more and more money is kept as a cash balance, kept as money, not used for any other purpose, that will affect the economic activities in the country. If we have more cash balance, It leads to lesser circulation of money, lesser use for goods and services. As a result, that leads to fall in the prices. That means value of money will increase. This is what the cash balance approach reasoned. According to them, it is not the total cash, total money that is in the economy, but what amount of that national income or what amount of national income is being kept as cash or currency in the form of currency, that will decide the price level or value of money. According to Cambridge Analysis, why people wanted to hold money in the form of money only? They cite three reasons or three motives force the people or the public to keep money in the form of money only or in the form of currency. What are these three motives? One is transactions motive, second one is precautionary motive, and the third one is speculative motive. Transactions motive is concerned with the holding of cash to buy goods and services to carry on day-to-day transactions. Whereas the precautionary motive makes people to hold money to protect themselves from unforeseen contingencies. In case of speculative motive, people want to earn additional income in order to purchase bonds and other security instruments. Speculation is the main motive for holding cash in the form of cash only, money in the form of money only. Higher the amount of holding in the form of cash balance, higher the cash balance, lower will be the prices, and vice versa. If lower is the proportion of money kept as cash, higher will be the prices. Higher will be the prices or lower will be the value of money. This is how the Cambridge equation analyzed the impact of cash balance on the economic activities. Let us see some of the equations. Particularly the cash balance approach was propounded or mainly supported by four Cambridge University economists: Alfred Marshall, A.C. Pigou, T.H. Robertson, and Professor J.M. Keynes. Let us see the equation given by Professor Marshall. According to Marshall, people in a country hold certain portion of their annual income in the form of currency or ready purchasing power and certain other fraction in the form of property or wealth. Therefore, the total amount of money demanded by the people is related to their annual income and the amount of their property. The quantity equation of Marshall is M is equivalent to PKY. As we know, M is quantity of money in the economy, P is the level of prices in the economy, K is the proportion or the ratio of cash to the total national income or total income of the country. Y is income or real income. M and P are directly related. If you have higher proportion, higher ratio in the form of cash, there will be lower availability for day-to-day transactions. This leads to this leads to uh, higher holding leads to higher holding leads to decrease in the prices because of decrease in demand for goods and services. Let us see AC-Pigou's quantity equation. According to AC-Pigou, the equation is P is equivalent to KR by M. In Pigou's equation, P is the value of money is equivalent to K, that is the proportion of income that is kept as cash reserve or in the form of cash only. K is the proportion ratio and R is the national income, national resources of the country, and M is the money with the public. That here in Pigou's equation, P is the value of money. Value of money is inversely related to quantity of money in the economy. If you have higher proportion of your income in the form of cash, that leads to fall in the prices. That means there is an increase in the value of money. P and K are directly related in the Pigou's equation. And let us see D.H. Robertson's equation. D.H. Robertson's equation is M is equivalent to PKT, or P is equal value of or price level is equivalent to the quantity of money divided by value of goods and services. This is what in the denominator we have K as the proportion of total transactions, total goods and services in the economy. Here also we have P price level, M is the quantity of money. If higher the level of K, lower will be the P price level. Price level will be lower. This is same as Fisher's Marshall's equation. And when we observe Keynes' quantity equation, Keynes' cash balance equation refers to only consumption goods. According to him, people hold money to buy or to represent only consumer goods and services. His equation is N is equivalent to Pk, or P is equivalent to N by K. Price level is equivalent to N. N is the cash held by the general public, and K is the proportion of consumption goods over which cash is kept. Here all the symbols are small letters. Small letters we use to denote Keynesian equation. N is equivalent to Pk. Keynes stressed that people are interested in the value of money with respect to consumer goods only. Thus, Cambridge economists have stressed upon the cash balance, which is kept in the form of currency only. If it is kept more in the form of cash only, then it will lead to fall in the prices of the prices in the economy, or increase in the value of money. This is how cash balance approach analyzes the important function of money as a store value and its effect on the other economic activities in the country. This is how Cambridge equation is more superior than the Fisher's equation. Since Fisher's equation concentrates only on the transactions approach, or money is used as for the exchange of goods and services, whereas Cambridge economists stress and take real aspects into account and consider the store of value function of money. That's why it is superior over the Fisher's equation. In spite of all superiority of the Fisher's equation, we find there are certain criticisms, certain lacunae in the Cambridge equation. The first criticism leveled against is the purchasing power of money is explained only in terms of consumption goods only. But actually, in reality, prices include all the goods. But this analysis takes only consumption goods. The second criticism, second lacunae of the Cambridge equation is how economic activities change in the economic activities takes place is not explained adequately. Inadequate explanation as far as changes in economic activities is concerned is the other criticism. And the third lacunae, third criticism leveled against the Cambridge equation is cash balance approach or Cambridge equation does not take into account savings, income and investment variables to explain changes in price level. They also play a very important role, but they have neglected. They will not. They are not. They did not consider in their explanation. Fourth one, cash balance approach neglects asset demand for money, and here the Cambridge version, Cambridge equation fails to take the importance of interest that plays in the economic activities or in the asset demand for money. Role of interest is being neglected by the Cambridge economists. And the fifth and more important part is important criticism is cash balance approach is takes the cash balance of all the people are lumped together, but cash balance for different people is different. It differs from different to different people, uh, different behavior patterns. People have different cash balance approach. That means they want to hold every community or every class of people will not have the same uh, behavior in holding cash because of differences in their consumption pattern, trade patterns, all other aspects differ. That's why this equation or analysis neglects the difference in the behavior patterns of the people as far as cash balance is concerned. This is how it has been criticized on various aspects. In spite of all the criticisms leveled against the cash balance approach, the analysis of Cambridge economists is far more realistic and far more superior as far as Fisher's equation is concerned, and it analyzes in a thorough way the impact and the way fluctuations that take place in the economy. Thank you very much.